The lure of BLM land and stuff like that is if you have the right equipment, if you have a toy hauler and a four-wheel drive pickup and things like that that are set up for that, or a smaller vehicle, a small trailer, four-wheel drive, or a van or something where you can get off, it's a lot better. But I'm telling you, I'm starting to find out that I just don't like driving down 5 miles down a dirt road. Hi, I'm Tom.
I'm Joy.
We're the Rightlaners.
Today we are in Wall, South Dakota.
The famous wall drug. World famous.
Yes.
We're going to go look at it in a minute. We just got here. We haven't had a chance to go look at it.
We are catching up at laundry. We're staying at an RV park. And we'd like to give a recap of our first month, 2 months, and 1 week on the road.
Joy's got all the information.
Yes. So a quick rundown of since we left our home till today, we have put 9,600 miles total between the RV and the Jeep.
It's a lot of miles.
It's a lot of miles. It's 5,800 miles on the RV and approximately 3,800 miles on the Jeep. I didn't keep track at first. So that's about an average of 130 miles driving each day. Average.
It's a lot of miles.
We knew starting out this first few months we had a lot of places to go.
We had to come to South Dakota to take care and do our license and finish vehicle registration and stuff like that.
So here we go. We took off our California plates. We already have South Dakota on the motorhome. Now we're putting South Dakota on the Jeep. We got our licenses yesterday. It's official. We're South Dakotans. What do you feel about that, Tom?
I don't know.
Kind of strange feeling.
But just a few things. We're here on business.
Yes, we're actually moving here. This is our new home state, which is, as an adult, I've never changed states, so it's kind of exciting.
Yep, it's very exciting. We're no longer from California.
And when we run into people and we tell them we're moving from California, they say, "Oh, good for you."
Yeah.
We've got that response many times on this trip.
California is not very liked. Anyway, what's the rest of the stats, Joy?
Okay, we have stayed in 34 different places. This is our first 73 days on the road. So that averages to 2 a night. Our
2 nights each?
Yes. It averages to 2 nights each place. Our costs for campgrounds has been $800, which averages to $11 a day. And we're trying to stick within a $10 a day budget, so we're doing pretty good there, considering we've had to pay for some parks we didn't really want to.
Yeah. We'll talk about parks in a little bit. Go ahead and finish, Joy.
We have spent $2,200 on fuel for the Jeep and RV, which is under our $33 per day budget. Again, We knew starting out.
That's good.
Yeah, that's good. We budgeted for this crazy driving.
Somebody put the 222 rule out there, and it seems it's actually a good rule.
It is.
You travel 2 hours a day, you stop by 2 o'clock, and you spend 2 nights. And it really is a nice way to do it. After we see a little bit, we plan on staying for longer periods at a time, not traveling so much, but we've got a lot of things to do. We got to get back to the kids, and we got commitments that we have to. This year's not going to be very good because we have a lot of commitments this year.
I was still pleasantly surprised that we have been following, whether by accident or not, on average, the 222 rule.
And our budgets that we set up to begin with is we're staying in it, so that means we're not going broke yet. But it seems to be working out okay. Joy has some things she wants to talk about as far as how it's going with the space. I have no problem with the space.
Yeah, people ask, we've run into some people who go on the road 6 to 4 months a year, and they said, "Don't you miss your house?" We have not missed the house. We are very comfortable here.
We had a little instance over the last 2 days where we had 30, 40 mile an hour winds outside, and we couldn't really go out. And it was 97 degrees
It was
with
very hot.
30 mile an hour winds, so it was like a blast furnace. So we just kind of stayed in, and it was bothering me a little bit. It was starting to get to me being in, not necessarily the area, but just being inside with, I didn't feel like I had a project or anything to do. So it was starting to bother me a little bit, but it wasn't that bad.
I, on the other hand, was very comfortable being holed up. We kind of picked a park with not a lot of things to do. We didn't even unhitch the Jeep, which we will talk about. And that was kind of like, okay, we're not even going to unhitch here because we're not going to go do anything. We're just going to chill. So we did. We chilled.
I don't like chilling. But another thing we want to talk about is campsites. And we try real hard to stay in a few free campsites, but what we're starting to discover on this Class A, we have Class A 33 footer, which is not real big, and it does real well off-road, but going off of the road for a long distance over washboard roads or rutted roads, I think we're doing more damage to the motorhome, and the cost of that is going to be way more than paying for a little bit of a small price for a campsite. So this free camping, I don't think it's all it's cut out to be. I'm a little concerned about that's not working out. I'd rather pay for a federal or a state campground, which we don't have to go over some torn up roads. We've already done, a couple little scratches on the bottom of the motorhome, and we got stuck once, and I'm thinking, this driving down a dirt road for 5 miles does not getting it for me. It does more, I'm getting more damage, and plus the dust is terrible, so, and then if it's not dust, if it's raining, are you going to get out? So we're a little concerned about that. We're starting to change our thoughts a little bit and maybe look for just really reasonable low price campsites rather than try to get free campsites. If it's an overnight, we can stay at Cabela's or Walmart or just a side of the road place, rest stop. That's okay. But at first we were staying 4 or 5 days out on BLM land, but it's tough because it does a lot of damage. We get a lot of dirt, so then I got to clean everything again. It's just, I don't know if it's worth it.
Okay, so one reason we purchased this particular rig and set it up is to be off-grid, and we really like staying in those places that are off-grid. We have much more room to ourselves. It's usually sometimes prettier place, and we don't necessarily like the campground like the one we're in now, where you're relatively close to your neighbors. But we have found, and surprisingly to me so, that state parks and national recreation areas, a lot of states have free. We stayed in one place that the utility company paid electricity, so it was free. So there are a lot of different options out there for free or low cost that aren't necessarily boondocking.
BLM land, hard to get to places.
Yeah, but there are city parks in these other states that we've been in that have
we had a couple of
places
city parks that are just amazing
really
in
nice.
town, and with the hookups, with water, with electric. No water, but electric. Everybody has electric here for some reason. I'm not sure why.
Well, it does seem to be the most important because when it's hot, we really need to run the air, and then we don't have to run the generator.
And it's hot.
It's hot. We've been running the air.
Yeah, it's been up in the 90s, so.
So it's really a balancing game in picking out the cost versus the convenience versus the comfortableness of the area that we're staying in.
Yeah, like I say, we thought we were just going to find all BLM land or whatever and find places to stay, but most of those you have to go off a road, and it's
dirty, gravelly road.
And I can't pull the Jeep because it puts gravel on the Jeep and tears up the front of the Jeep, so it's more of a hassle sometimes than paying $10 a night.
So that's one thing that we've definitely learned. We're learning as we go on how to stay places. Another thing we're learning on the go is how to schedule where we're going. That's been an ordeal.
It has. We've been scheduling.
Or the lack of scheduling.
Oh.
Deciding where we want to go next. It sounds simple. There are lots of things to see, but there are so many options and possibilities, and then you have to figure out where you're going to camp along the way. So
we haven't been planning ahead.
No.
We have not been planning ahead, so we've just been going where the wind blows us, and it's been working out. I don't think there's been any problem with it at all, to tell you the truth.
No, surprisingly not.
We haven't ever, sometimes we get in, but you have to be careful what kind of predicament you get in. If you can turn around, or if you have a smaller van or something, then you have a lot more options. But with a small Class A, your options aren't as many. And then, like I say, you got to be careful because you don't want to tear up equipment, because if you save $10 and it costs you $300 or $400, then you haven't gained anything. What else, Joy?
We had our first major weather last night.
That was fun. Yesterday it was no wind, so we put the awning out for the first time in quite a few days, and barbecued and stuff outside, and it was nice, and we had the awning out. And then about 10 o'clock we got a knock at the door. It was a camp host saying that there was a thunderstorm coming and we needed to put our awning up. So we put the awning in, left the slides out, but we got onto, so I downloaded an app for Joy's phone. I don't know, we'll put what the app was on there, but so we could see a visual of thunderstorms coming, and it works quite well. And sure enough, we got a thunderstorm. Fortunately for us, we only hit the bottom edge of the thunderstorm, because if it would have hit it head on, it would have been really bad. But we had some probably 60-70 mile-an-hour gust and some few pieces of hail. You could hear some hail hit, but a little bit of rain and wind, and there was probably we probably went through 4 or 5 cells. 4 or 5 cells hit us, but the main cell was above us, north of us, so that was nice. But we got a little bit of rocking and rolling and some hail a little bit, and then a lot of rain.
It's the most interesting lightning I've ever seen in my life. It wasn't like flashes of lightning and then bolts like I'm used to. It was just like a flickering of the sky, like somebody was flickering a light bulb. It was very interesting. And I was trying not to be excited about foul weather, because it could be serious, and I was trying to not be excited, but it was kind of exciting.
Well,
what we learned, though,
there's tornadoes in Minnesota. It's going to happen in Minnesota tonight, I think it is, and some of the people were going home to Minnesota, and they're concerned about the tornadoes there. And I didn't know tornadoes were, and I guess they had a tornado in the park we were in 2 years ago, flipped some RVs over.
So it's nothing to play with. And we talked to a lot of other campers in the park, and one tip that we got, that we've heard, leave the RV, find a safe spot, know what county you're in, all those things. But one thing we did not consider was unhitching our tow vehicle, because this is the first time we pulled in and we thought, we're not going anywhere, we don't need to unhitch it, so we left it attached. And then when the storm came, we should have had it. We should always unhitch the Jeep so we can make a quick escape.
Yeah, but there again, it's hard, because you gotta know which way to go to get out of it. It's not always possible.
But we should always have it unhitched when we park, because you just never know.
The lady next to us told us that the camp host told them before to go into the vault toilet. What a way to go, huh?
She said, we're not dying in a vault toilet, so they got in the car and left.
But yeah.
So it's all things that we're learning while we're on the road. Just getting a different travel style, getting into the groove of where we're going, what we're going to see. We've been having a great time seeing lots of museums, lots of hiking. We've been having, especially these last few weeks, has really been nice.
Yeah, we've seen lots, and we've been hitting every attraction there is pretty much, and I'm still waiting for the largest ball of string though, but I haven't found it yet. But you know, we've been hitting a lot of attraction. We're going to go to Wall Drug here in a couple of minutes, and we'll have a video on that, I'm sure.
Yeah, so it's been great. We love it.
Yeah, and it's a learning process. Anyway, thanks for watching, and see you on down the road. Make sure you subscribe, and thumbs up or thumbs down, whichever you prefer. But please subscribe and follow us. We've got more adventures ahead.
Thanks for watching.